Yeah, the ceiling isn't looking quite as colorful as it was. Kind of bare, isn't it? Yeah, the vines are gone. I ripped them all down. Wow, what a difference 2 weeks makes. The vines are here, the vines aren't there. Well, I have something to show you that'll kind of explain the vines. And that something is this. It looks like a big turd. Gather around, kids. Ray's going to talk about turds. Yes, he is. Oh, it's dirty, too. This little thing is all that's left of that huge vine. Weird things happen in the Garden of Voo, don't they? Well, I want to welcome you back. First thing, I want to welcome you back to the Voodoo Garden. My name is Ray. I am the host of this ever-changing realm of nonsense that I call the Voodoo Garden. This is all that's left of that huge vine that just dominated the Voodoo Garden for months. Actually, months. Yeah, it was a beauty. It was a little gift. This little teeny tiny golf ball size thing sent to me by a viewer. I planted it. It grew. It nice and slow. It was looking good. And then all of a sudden it just took off. And it went all over the place. It's called an air potato. Remember I mentioned that, air potato. I never really thought much of it. I thought it was really kind of cute. I researched it. Turns out down south it's considered invasive weed, and they are doing everything they can to get rid of it, yanking it out, mowing it out, going nuts trying to get rid of this thing, something that I valued so much and had so much fun with. In some parts of the country it's considered something that they don't even want to see, kind of like kudzu. You know, kudzu is a beautiful vine. It really is. It goes crazy and stuff, but anybody that's been around kudzu, they tell you don't want kudzu. I guess it's a matter of perspective, you know? And this was not going to invade anything. I mean, I can control it here in the Voodoo Garden. All I got to do is take my scissors and go snip, 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 controlled. And even outside, I wouldn't have a problem with this because I have harsh winters that get really cold. This cannot survive the winters. And they say if you want to get rid of this stuff, dig up the bulbs or take the bulbs off the plant, you know, because they put out bulbs along their vine. Little potatoes, hence the name air potato. They said take those if you're trying to clear them out off your property, put them in the freezer overnight and it kills them. So I know that this will not survive outside, but you know what? I may try and grow it outside just for one season, just to see how well it'll grow. I saw how it grew out in here, but what happened was the leaves started turning a little bit yellowish, then gold, and then wrinkling up and falling away. It was just like autumn in here. And I think that's what the thing was. The plant was done doing what it does, and it thought it was autumn and it was time to go away. Well, what it did was, I keep doing this because there's dirt falling off of this. I guess I should give you a close-up of this. Come on over here, and I'm going to show you something really strange that this did for me, and I thought it was a nice little parting gift from my little friend. This is what I dug out of the soil. Yeah, the air potato is known for putting out these little bulbs that look similar to this, one little bulb here, along its vine, and you can pluck those off, plant them, and it'll grow another plant. Yeah, hence the name air potato. It makes a lot of sense. Well, what I found out that I did not know, and I found out after researching, is that it will also put out tubers underneath the soil. See, the one that I planted was about this big. It disappeared. The plant came out of it, and I guess it just used up all the energy, or maybe this was it. Well, what it did was it made another one, and look at this. It made this gigantor looking thing with roots coming out all over the place. I trimmed off the roots, set it in my basement in a cool, dry, dark place, and let it dry out. I figured, well, potato, isn't that how you're supposed to store potatoes? So that's what I'm doing. I'm storing this the way that it is, and you can actually snap this off. It isn't going to hurt it. And you pull it apart. I'm trying to do this with one hand. And you can plant this. Just this one thing in the soil, and it'll grow another plant. Same thing with this other little one, and especially this giant one. And I don't know how long they'll last. So my intention is to store these as long as I can, and then if they start growing, grow them here in the Voodoo Garden, and then they'll grow and die, and then make more potatoes underneath the soil. And then next spring, I'm going to plant one outside and see how big I can grow it outside. Won't it be fun taking it outside and see how, you saw how big the leaves were here. Holy crap, you could sail on those things down a river. So I'm wondering if this one, if I plant it outside, the big bulb will grow up a tree and then put out all kinds of air potatoes and leaves even bigger than the ones that they grow here. But yeah, that does, it looks like a big old turd, doesn't it? Yes, it do. There's one other thing that's been happening recently in the Voodoo Garden, and I got to show you that too. Well, looks like I'm going to have to vacuum once more. Just sweep it to the side. That's my secret. Sweep it to the side, and if nobody notices it, it doesn't exist. Don't look down there. Look up here. Okay, well, that's it for the air potato for now. I'm going to store these in the other room where I have a cool temperatures and dry air. In here it's humid. It's hot and it's humid. It's really kind of uncomfortable actually. It's 80 degrees. It's early in the morning. Yeah, that's because the room is closed in and I got to keep it humid for the plants. I have air conditioning in the rest of the house and it's dry, cool air. That wouldn't bode well for a lot of these plants. So I have to just deal with it whenever I'm filming down here. But there's one thing that has started popping up and I have no idea why. It's one of those things, the mysteries of life that we don't question. It's back here in this plant. I'm not going to move it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move out of your way so that you can walk over here and just take a look at what's growing in here. The itty bitty, well, come on over here and take a look at this. The white dust, that's spores that came from these things that are laying on the soil. I don't want to touch them because I don't want to spread it all over the place, even though I really do like them. But look at the babies growing right out of the center. Aren't they cute? The tiniest yellow mushrooms, and they will get big. They get about 6 inches tall and they have giant yellow caps. And that's the thumbnail, part of the thumbnail picture. Actually, I'm going to show you a picture at the end of this program of what they look like when they're full grown. These are mushrooms and they have a technical name and I looked it up, but I forgot what it was. It was kind of hard for me to pronounce, so I'm not going to pronounce it. But they're growing in the soil and it turns out they're poisonous. I mean, you're not going to drop dead, but you will get an upset stomach if you eat them. So please, don't eat anything unless you really know what it is. But every now and then you may notice this in your potted plants. And if you look it up, they are very common. Don't worry about it. They don't hurt a thing. They help decompose organic matter in the soil. They're a decorative thing. Yeah, and what they're doing is they're appearing in my plants. Well, more specifically, they're appearing in the soil. They start out as little teeny tiny yellow dots and then they grow up, they spread their caps out, the caps release the spores, they die, and the cycle continues. It'll do that for a few months and then they'll just stop, they're done, and then later on, maybe 6 months later, they'll do it again. Yeah, it's a crazy weird addition to the Voodoo Garden that I've had sporadically for years and years. And I wanted to show you these, but they only last about 2 days, and I forgot to actually film them. So I did get that picture. Aren't they beautiful? No, I did not plant those. It just turns out the picture turned out perfect. I just grabbed the camera, snapped the picture, and there it was. So I just wanted to show you a little something that's happening here in the Garden of Voodoo. Strange, wonderful, surprising, all different kinds of things happen in here. By the time you come back, because I want to mention something, by the time you come back, this little baby here will probably look like this. They both started out the same, just itty bitty starts. Spider plants, by the way. They started out as itty bitty starts. This one just started recently. This one's been going for probably a few months. But that's what happens. You leave, you come back, you see something new, you're curious about it, you ask me, I explain it. That's just how things work here in the Voodoo Garden, and I'm very glad to do that. But every little thing that happens in here, I like to share it with you. But for a while, just for a little while, okay, just for a little while, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, just for a few weeks, because in August is my birthday, and I like to just relax, take my time. That's my birthday present to myself. I relax, barbecue, spend time with the dogs, go fishing, things like that, and just take a little bit of time to myself. And also, one last thing is that this room gets really hot in August. It is the worst month for me to be in here. So in the morning, I get in here right when the lights turn on. I water everything, look at everything, soak it all up, then run. Get out of here, because it gets hot really, really fast. But it'll cool down by the end of the month. So I'm just going to take a few weeks off if you don't mind. But while I'm gone, if you would, check back on this channel and find other programs. There are a lot of programs. I have filmed dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of programs on here, and I'm sure there's something that you're going to enjoy. Take some time. If you want to enjoy and soak up the greenery, go back and watch another program, because it's something that I know that you're going to enjoy, but it also helps me. When you watch my programs, I make a few cents off of each program when you do watch it, so it does help me, even though I'm going to take a little bit of a vacation for myself, because I really can't afford a vacation. I'm not going anywhere special, but I'm just going to take a little bit of time and relax and spend time with my family, if you don't mind. And when I come back, things will look a lot different, and I'm going to be very happy to show you that all the little things I'm going to be changing. If you notice, there really isn't kind of a cluster of plants. I've divested myself of a few things, because what I want to do is I want to clear that table off that's over on your right, and I'd like to grow some vegetables. Yeah, starting in autumn, I'm going to replace some of the tropicals, maybe with a few vegetables. Since I do have a bright light, I can lower that light down, and I can grow a few vegetables and maybe do that throughout the winter. I don't know. What do you think? You know, a little mix of tropicals and maybe a few vegetables, something we can snack on when we're just relaxing and having a good time in the Voodoo Garden. So, with that being said, I want to thank you for joining me, and it's been a great journey. I will be back towards the end of August, and I'm sure I'm going to have, I always have something new for my friends. But anyway, have a great month, have a great few weeks, and I will see you soon. This is Ray and his little friends. We're out of here.